Hello everybody, my name is Suppogen, and welcome back to the mess that is my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all the builds that I'm bringing in. I've basically made every single build for every single change that is coming, except for a couple, mainly because some of the builds are just very obsolete. For example, the Cenotaph change of just getting the markings, and some other ones too, just like the Titan being able to use their thruster to give you healing, scorching, and the Tangle. Although the Tangle is already a thing, but that's besides the point. So, I'm gonna show you every build in this video. Just gonna give you a little overview of it, and then when tomorrow hits, or whenever I upload this video, I'll get to try them out, and you guys will get to see it on stream. Hopefully, I'll be live on Twitch tomorrow, and on YouTube as well. So join when you can. And so, without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so first off, I want to do it with the Verity's Brow, mainly because my free-to-play account has been using the Verity's Brow a lot, so I thought I'd try to make automatically just make one for this, since it's actually getting a buff, to where instead of just 20 per stack, the first kill with a solar weapon is a 40% and then the rest are 15s. It still comes out to 100% grenade damage, but the first boost will be 40, so it's pretty nice there. So I basically have I've tried to mimic the same build as it was before on my main, just a couple of different preferences. You got Solar Siphon, 2 Ashes, 2 Assets, 1 Melee Kickstart, Harmonic Loader, Impact Induction, 2 charged up mods, an Elemental Charge, Solar Scavenger, Stacks on Stacks, Bomber, Outreach, and Utility Kickstart. Next is the Skull of Dire Alhamkara build, in which Devour, as long as you have Devour active, you will be able to get your super, or these chunks of your super, alongside the super refund per kill. So, with that, I guess I forgot to put everything together. So apparently I have Shade Binder on for some fucking reason. So, with this, I'll be using a Dynamo, an Ashes 2 Assets, and a Siphon mod here. Grenade Kickstart, Bolstering Detonation, Fastball, 2 charged up mods, Innervation, Invigoration, and Stacks on Stacks, 2 Bombers, and a Utility Kickstart. Next is the Sanguine Alchemy build, because Sanguine Alchemy is kind of getting a reversion, so it's going to have the marking effect, and marked targets take 10% more damage, but not only that, but its surge will go from ×2 to ×4, which means it's a 10% increase, 10% more increase, make it 20, plus the 10% from the marking of the target, making it 30. So it's gonna be a substantial buff for Sanguine Alchemy here. So this build is pretty much what I use in the dungeon of the Spire of the Watcher. Nothing much is different here, because this is my dungeon, no doubt. So 3 heavy ammo finders, a bit excessive, but it's worth it. Melee Kickstart, Harmonic Loader, Impact Induction, 3 Harmonic Reserves, Elemental Charge, Solar Scavenger, Stacks on Stacks, Bomber, Outreach, Utility Kickstart. These mods will change when the episode comes out tomorrow, but for now, this is what we're working with. And finally, the Stasis Ballador's Weaver builds. Did I say that right? No, Ballador's Wrath Weavers. So this is getting a buff where Frost Pulse and the Witcher's Wrath Shockwave after the super ends will give you super energy again. So with that, I don't think I've had the build set up yet. I have 2 Harmonic Siphon mods. I'm going to put a Grenade Kickstart, do a Bolstering Detonation, and a, what is the third one called? A Focusing Strike. So we can get our class ability back so we can do more Frost Pulses. We will have on 2 charged up mods, Innervation, Invigoration, Stacks with Stacks, 2 Bombers, and a Utility Kickstart. All these builds are pretty similar to each other, so that's pretty much the main. Once again, that's what I mean by things are going to change, because I kind of just put all these together. Alrighty, so next up are the Titans. Now I'm going to go over the Icefall Mantle one, because this is very beefy for what they did to it. So, you gain a stack of Frost Armor for Rapid Stasis Final Blows. Each time you gain a stack of Frost Armor from any source, you will heal for a small amount. The class ability granted by Soul Mantles will now provide maximum stacks of Frost Armor instead of the Overshield it had. You immediately heal for each stack that you get added. They will no longer prevent sprinting or jumping. So now you can just jump. You can use your Titan glide and just sprint normally, like you usually can, and not be hindered by no movement. And class ability energy will now begin to recharge immediately after use of the Ice Mantle's class ability. This is huge for it too. And then the burst of stasis energy from the class ability now freezes combatants and slows players. It will no longer provide the stasis bonus weapon damage, and will require a stasis super to be equipped in order to benefit from this exotic. Oh my god, that is a lot of changes for this thing. So, what does that all mean? Ice Mantles are basically any other exotic with frost, but now you get frost armor from it. So it's pretty good. So, with that, you get, I'm going to have Harmonic Siphon, double hands-on. It's probably going to change this out for double ashes to assets. Firepower, Stasis Loader, Bolstering Detonation, Solar Resistance, 2 charged up mods, Stacks on Stacks, Recuperation, Elemental Charge, Outreach, Utility Kickstart, and a Reaper mod. Moving on to the, what is this? The Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap. What this will do is remove the stasis weapon requirement. Now, any final blows or rapid precision hits while behind a rally barricade and with a stasis super will create a diamond lance near you. Directly hitting any powerful combatants with a diamond lance will now create 3 stasis crystals. And it was only for bosses and vehicles. So this is pretty good now, I will say, but I think there's still going to be a little bit of problems with it, in my opinion. But for the top here, I'm going to have a Stasis Siphon, a Dynamo, and probably another Siphon mod here, depending on what weapons I use. Then I'll have a Grenade Kickstart and Impact Induction, 2 charged up mods, Stacks on Stacks, Recoup, Elemental Charge, an Outreach, Utility Kickstart, and a Reaper. This is basically the same premise as the Icefall Mantle one, but some things are bound to change in the update tomorrow. So next up is the Spirit of the Bear and Armamentarium. So they've making the change where your maximum super energy gain from the Unbreakable aspect is from 15 to 20. Alrighty, so next up is the Peacekeepers. And so somehow Bungie decided to buff these things, and they gave it. I can't believe they're giving it this treatment, bro. They gave it the Lucky Pants treatment, so it's getting a damage buff. What it says is that dealing damage to combatants with an SMG increases SMG damage for a short time, maximum of 20 stacks, and it's 100% bonus damage. Lasts for 1 second. Each hit adds a stack and refreshes the timer. So there are a lot of ways you could use this to a good advantage here. So for example, actually Risk Runner is going to be very good for this, but if you want to use any of the buffed weapons like the Teraba or the Huckleberry, those are going to be very good for it, as they're going to, for one, the Teraba is just going to have a massive increase in damage from it, plus the 100% increase from the Peacekeepers. It's going to be insane. And then the Huckleberry getting kinetic tremors, it's going to be oh so nice. But we'll be using Risk Runner for a certain someone that I still play with to this day who used this combo. So going with the normal build here, we got a Kinetic Siphon, 2 Arc Siphons, Grenade Kickstart, Impact Induction, double charged up mods. I'm going to be putting Kinetic Arc Siphon, or whatever siphon of the SMG that I'm going to be using on here. And then I'm going to be putting the timer mods on there. What are they called? Time dilation or something? Yeah, time dilation. So I'll probably put 2 or 3 on there to get the 15% seconds. 15% seconds? What the fuck? What I meant to say was 15 seconds. But yes, a 15-second timer, just so that I can have that uptime of whatever surge I use at all times. So it's going to be pretty nice for that. Now it is on to the hunters. So first off, we're going to start with Lucky Pants, that is getting both a buff and a nerf. So for the buffs in hand, it says will now provide movement bonuses when you, including slight distance and sprint speed when a hand cannon is equipped. So when you have a hand cannon, you basically have some benefits of the Stompies, which is pretty nice. Then the airborne effectiveness bonus is active whenever a hand cannon is equipped, and not just when the illegally modded holster buff is active. And it no longer will require the hand cannon to be matched to the super damage type or kinetic to receive the PvE damage buff. So that's pretty nice for that. But the out of luck trigger cooldown will only trigger when you reach 7 stacks of the PvE damage buff before swapping off the weapon or the time expires. Now here's the big one. Maximum damage has been decreased from 600% to 450. That's 150% damage loss. So it kind of sucks for that, but it is more consistent to get the buff out now and less confusing. So that's pretty nice for that. So next up is the young Ahamkara's Spine. They are finally getting rid of the kill proc to get your grenade energy back. It is now just on ability hits. So that means that this is back on the table and the knife trick is back to being meta on this build. So what this is going to do, I'm pretty sure I made this build already. Yep. So we have Kinetic Siphon, Heavy Ammo Finder, and Scout. We have a Firepower, a Heavy-Handed, and a Bolstering Detonation. 2 Charge Up mods, an Innovation, Stacks on Stacks, and Recuperation. Bomber, Outreach, and Powerful Attraction, so we can grab those orbs. This is one of my most excited builds because I have missed using this shit, man. Next up is Blight Ranger. So I don't really have a build for this yet. I basically still have on the same mods that I had on the last one because I don't know how to really make this one yet. So basically they're adding Raiju's Harness's abilities to Blight Ranger alongside the blocking effects, but instead of making the orbs of power, the reflecting projectiles will now instead directly refund super energy, extending the duration of your super. So that's pretty nice, though. I really like making orbs blocking. Yeah, so they added the ability to cancel your arc staff super while equipped, damaging and blinding nearby enemies, and granting a tier 4 arc weapon damage boost. Damage dealt by this effect scales based on the number of projectiles reflected prior to canceling. Oh, that's for the damaging and blinding effect. Okay. So now Raiju's Harness is getting a buff where it's basically getting a complete rework, actually. So it says, activating Gathering Storm will call down lightning on all nearby allies, jolting them while also amplifying allies. Defeating arc debuff targets will grant a small amount of Gathering Storm energy. So basically, whatever jolted targets you kill with Gathering Storm will give you some super back. So it's going to be pretty nice for that. And if you use my most niche build that I made a couple weeks ago, it's going to be perfect for this. So I recommend it for sure. And then Relativism, I don't think I have the build. No, I didn't make the build for it. But it says here that prismatic counters. Oh wait, I'm not going to read the flavor text. Spirited Simceps. They reduce the melee damage bonus provided to both Ionic Enhancement and Stylus Executioner are active by 50%. So that means that the damage bonus you're going to get is, well, less. Now, originally, I actually was able to get this to work without any of the seasonal artifacts, because that's you can actually boost the damage. It's just with all the combos alone without it. And I did about a 1.1 million to the first boss of the EDZ dungeon. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But yeah, the first Corn boss there did about 1.1 million, which is just absolutely insane. But yeah, so there's that. So that's all I really got for this tonight. I'm gonna try and get this video out as soon as I can in the morning so you guys can see what I'm gonna be cooking up. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the stream. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.